Yeah, good day, good evening, good afternoon, good morning from wherever you are. This is our weekly show reviewing of the chapters of the book, Holistic Career Development, Coaching and Mentorship Perspective. We are looking at chapter 18, Drive and Willpower. We're going to be joined by two reviewers, our sisters, Happy Maponya and Boniwe Dunster. Boniwe is not yet with us. I saw her. She was connected. I think she's trying to connect again. Boniwe, if you think you are with us, you are not. I can't see you. So you might have to disconnect and then connect again, because sometimes we think you are not here. Meanwhile, in the background, you are here, but I can't see you. So the best you can do is to log out and then log back in so that I can accept you into our virtual studio. Yes, once again, welcome. This is COMETSA Radio Worldwide, CRW. The mind, the journey, the destiny. We apply our mind to the journey that takes us to our destiny. We are an African online radio station with a global reach. We are streaming live from South Africa into the world. You can access us at COMETSARadioWorldwide.com and participate in our show. These shows are based on the principle we call the idea. We inform and entertain, develop and educate, empower and support, associate and network. That is the idea. These talk shows affirm and support business people, entrepreneurs, and professionals in their personal and professional development journey. And our responsibilities are to build the ecosystem, empower our stakeholders, collaborate across sectors, share the insights and knowledge, build a base for succession and inheritance, and of course, preserve our legacy for generations after us. And of course, our genre is music, classic, world music, and of course, we believe this appeals to our listeners globally. You can also listen to the previous reviews at COMETSARadioPodcast.com. And as I said, my name is Tsima. I am your host and the moderator of the show this evening. Sit back, relax, enjoy your favorite drink, and participate in the show. And how to participate in the show is quite very easy. You can send us messages in our WhatsApp group, which is a +27 63 089 5949. I repeat, our WhatsApp group, +27 63 089 5949. As I stated, it's our weekly show, and we are reviewing chapter 18 of the book, Holistic Career Development, Coaching and Mentorship Perspective. And we are on chapter 18 of the 21 chapters, very close to the last chapter. And this chapter 18 is titled Drive and Willpower. And our two sisters in our virtual studio, Happy Maponya and Boniwe Dunster, our members and specialists indeed. Boniwe is a human resources specialist, and Happy Maponya is a social worker. She is a therapist, and they will tell you a little bit more about their background and what they do. And of course, let me acknowledge my colleague, my co-moderator, my Mela, at a distance, and then of course our co-anchor, Bauga Spice Sogoli Paul, who I know is listening. at a distance and will be exchanging some insights with us on our WhatsApp group. And of course, next door to me here is Makuluve Franz Ramutla. My brother, you're just next to me and I can see you on the platform. Please welcome the listeners, greet them, tell them who you are before we can ask our guests to greet them as well and introduce themselves. Over to you, Makuluve.
Good evening, listeners. Good evening, fellow reviewers. Good evening, my fellow moderator and my fellow anchor. As Brasem has said, I am Franz Makuluve Ramutla. I am very much happy to be a member of COMETSA. I can attest to our principle of idea. As you have followed the program, most of the reviewers here have been developed by COMETSA, and as you will engage them, you can hear that they are very much informed, and as you listen to them, you can feel that they are very much empowered from the support that they received from COMETSA. I can attest, I can bear testimony to the fact that my involvement with COMETSA has linked me with a number of associates through which I negotiate, I network with in the businesses that I am running. By profession, I'm a social worker. By business qualification, I'm Master of Business Administration, work professional. And tonight we are reviewing Chapter 18, Drive and Willpower, as Brasem said. We are looking forward to very entertaining contributions from Happy and Boniwe. And at this stage, let me give them the opportunity to introduce themselves.
Beautiful, beautiful. Let's start with Boniwe. Boniwe, the listeners are all yours. Tell them who you are and your background.
Thank you very much, Sam, and thank you all my colleagues, and good evening to all the COMETSA listeners. So my name is Boniwe Dunster. I am a human resources specialist by profession and also a public speaker. I am a founder of Blue Eagle Human Capital Practice, which is an HR advisory organization that is helping individual and small medium enterprise organizations to have access to simple and meaningful HR practices. I'm also a winner of an IPM Resources Practitioner of the Year for 2022. I actually pride myself in actually being a fair person, and I pride myself with having integrity, and I actually want to see everybody growing and developing in their careers, and that's why you find most of my services are really centered around young professionals when it comes to providing coaching, mentoring, and development. So I'm actually looking forward to having a meaningful conversation today and a meaningful book review on our chapter 18. And I'm very privileged to be here by the invitation of Mr. Tsima, and also looking forward to actually engaging with my co-sharer, Ms. Happy, and looking forward to it. Thank you so much, Sam.
Thank you, Boniwe. Over to you, Makuluve.
We all know that journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. And as we speak now, I think we've taken a quantum leap. We are on our 18th step, where we're sharing the Drive and Willpower with our reviewers. Let me take this opportunity to share with Happy about our expectations.
And also she needs to welcome our guest and greet and introduce herself.
I'm sorry. Happy, may you please greet your listeners?
Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Happy Maponya. I am a qualified social worker, life coach, prepare English counselor, and an EAP practitioner. My experience as a social worker includes working at a non-government organization, namely FAMSA, that specializes in marital counseling, divorce counseling, and divorce mediation. I also work at a Vets Mental Health Society. It's an organization that specializes in mental health issues. And I also work at the Department of Social Development as a workshop planner. My clients included, the NGOs, assisting them in establishing the NGOs, assisting them with the business plan, funding, and so on. And I also worked at ICAS as an employee wellness service provider as a EAP practitioner. And lastly, I'm presently working for ADAPT, which is an organization that is based in Alexander. It specializes with the gender-based violence issue. I am also in private practice as a therapist. I am specializing in marriage counseling, bereavement counseling, adolescent, and individual and group trauma counseling. I am contracted to major EAP service providers like ICAS, Careways. I offer online and face-to-face counseling. I am passionate about women and youth empowerment. I am presently facilitating gender-based violence workshops for Alexander Clinic and the City of Johannesburg Clinic for staff in Alexander Township. And lastly, I have known Tsima for more than 50 years. My family knew Sam through his late uncle Ngate Pachane. By then, we were living in Soweto together. And if I'm not wrong, Sam was staying in Kali. He was welcomed and became part of the family. He became our brother from another mother because of we are only the girls in the family. He became closer to my late father because of he was missing a boy child. Sam spent almost every weekend at our home. I think by that he was at camp and playing football. I have seen Sam grow from son to son professionally. He was committed and consistent in his journey. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Happy, for such comprehensive feedback. That Ramutawa to you, Boniwe. If you can't hear Happy, please just log out and log back in so that you can be able to hear Happy. Over to you, that Ramut.
COMETSA Worldwide Radio. The scene has been set now. Now we are about to drive past the seatbelt. As I've indicated, we are on a trip to complete 1,000 miles, but now we are still on our 18th steps, where we are going to share the drive and the willpower with our two reviewers, Happy and Boniwe. I think the roadmap that we have set and agreed on was that Happy and Boniwe will share with the listeners Sam's journey and the lessons that they learned from his journey, and they'll relate to their own journey in relation to the one that was traveled by Sam up to where we are at the drive and willpower. And they will indicate the message of the significance of the message to the current and up-and-coming generations. And obviously, you cannot understand where you are without reflecting where you come from. So they must reflect on the previous chapters and link with current chapter where we are now, chapter 18. Also, we will be on the second segment, we will be looking at the problem statement together with them, try to get answers to those problem statements. And towards the end of the chapter, they will be indicating to us how they relate to confirmations, the aha moments, the new insights, knowledge, take home new behaviors and practices. The stage is set. Over to you, Boniwe.
Thank you very much, and thank you once more for the opportunity. So I have actually read through chapter 18, which really talks about drive and willpower. In that chapter, the author, which is Mr. Tsima, talks about intentional, defines rather willpower and drive as the intention, the commitment, strength, and hard work for one to be able to achieve set goals in life. I do confirm to this particular definition because it really talks about the burning desire that one has and a spark in one's life to be able to do great things and to progress through life despite their adversities or challenges. So for me, this chapter really talks about a silver lining. We almost talk about challenges, we talk about adversity. However, there is always a silver lining, and that silver lining really comes to the fore when we understand and we know what our willpower is. And one will only have willpower if their purpose is defined. So for you to be able to drive towards a certain goal in life, you need to know what your purpose is. And having to engage with that purpose, it really allows you to have the drive to forge on, irrespective of the challenges that we have and the challenges that we grow up in our different communities. We all know that we come from different backgrounds, different challenges, and having read through Mr. Tsima's story, I get to understand and paint a picture of how things were in the rural village of Sikukumi, where he grew up in. And despite finding himself in those conditions, he always knew that he had a purpose beyond where he was, and that drive and willpower was what really helped them to forge ahead. And then what is important as a reviewer of this particular chapter, it also really teaches us and also indicates to us that being aware of one's journey and identifying what you need to achieve and live your purpose. And actually it gives us ideas and it actually gives us indicators in terms of what that really includes. And from what I have picked up from this chapter, it really says that as you're being aware of your journey and identifying what you need to achieve in life, firstly, it's important for you to have a strong will. So a strong will actually help you to get where you are. Secondly, it's also about knowing yourself. Who are you? Where do you come from? What are your roots? What makes up you as an individual, and also about your culture as well. And we have read about, I think, culture in many chapters of this book. And thirdly, it's also around having to put action plans in place for you to be able to know the journey that you're having to navigate, but also acknowledging that is as much as you put on action plans, there will always be stumbling blocks, but it's also about how do you navigate those stumbling blocks. However, a plan has to be in place. Number 4, it's also around looking around you for possible opportunity. So what that means is that from where we come from, in our townships, in our rural areas, or irrespective of any environment that you are coming from, it might be difficult. You might not see the future. You might not see the light, but it is important for you to look around your environment and also look at possible opportunities that you can see. And those small opportunities are also going to help you to forge ahead. Number 5 is also around identifying those that will support you in your journey that you have actually mapped out. And this could be different people, whether formally or informally, whether it could be family members that really believe in you, whether it could be your friends in the village, whether it could be the whole, village as a whole. But you need to also identify people that really see the potential in you, that can actually see ahead of you things that you cannot see. You know what they say in, about bringing up a child. They say, it takes a village, it takes a village really to raise a child. And we have also amongst ourselves to look at opportunities around our villages or our surroundings for those people that will actually help us with our plans, that will able to support us. And lastly, it's really around get working. Once you seize an opportunity, it doesn't matter how small or how big, it is important to start working on that opportunity, making sure you mine that opportunity. And obviously, the more you work on the opportunity, the more you have that burning desire for your drive and for your willpower. And with the 6 pointers that I have really make mention of, it really also resonates with me, as well as I am somebody who comes from the township and also grew up, in a middle class family with only my mother, as my dad passed away at a very young age. I think I was only 10 when my dad passed away, and I knew from that point when he passed away that I had a responsibility to myself to make my mom proud. And making my mom proud was for me not to use excuses of being raised by a single mother, not having a father, as an excuse for me not to really, achieve my commitment as a goal. However, during that journey of life, and also relating back to our chapter, there are also challenges that we get to face in our daily lives. And those challenges in this chapter are really challenges of giving up and the lack of resources and support, as I have also alluded to earlier. However, challenges are there to make us stronger. Challenges are there to make us better people. And it is important for us, when we are faced with the adversity or with the challenge of giving up, we actually go back to dig deep inside and finding that willpower for us to continue to achieve what we want to achieve. And most importantly, having to live the purpose that I believe we were born with.
Thank you so much, Boniwe. Hold it there for a while. I just want to address the request from Happy that she's not hearing you, and I think you are also not able to hear her. So you don't have to worry. You, as long as you hear Ndadera Mutla and myself, and the listeners are hearing you loud and clear. So no panic. We will make sure that you are brought to the level where the other speaker is. Carry on, Boniwe, to finish your thought before it becomes.
Thank you, sir. Right. So I was talking about some of the challenges that we face in our journey, such as giving up and lack of resources. The one question that really was prompted in my head as I was reading the chapter.
Okay, great. So it's in and out, but Happy is here. Happy, you can hear us very well. Ndadera Mutla is here. Over to you, Ndadera Mutla. Happy is with you.
Boniwe, confirm the definition, indicated that in life there are challenges and adversities, but within that there is a silver line that you can depend on. So that in your environment you must also be aware and identify the ways to achieve your purpose. And that there are certain indicators as you travel through your journey that are the basis for indicating whether you are achieving it or not. So yeah, let's take it from here, Happy, and go to the listeners.
Okay, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, very loud and clear.
Oh, okay. Firstly, I would like to thank the author for giving me this opportunity to be part of the book review. As Boniwe has indicated, we have been tasked to review chapter 18 of this book. The title we are just about to review is Willpower and Joy. I had an opportunity to attend author book launch in March 2023. As the author was sharing his experiences about his personal and professional journey, I was emotional and yet excited, not knowing the challenges that he was faced from his childhood. I thought I knew from them well. It was until the launch of his book. Childhood friends, former colleagues, friends, his former teachers and coaches were present to praise and witness this beautiful event. They spoke fondly about their relationship with him. What came out here was that Sam is a hard worker, committed, focused, thriving, and driven in his personal and professional journey. I immediately figured out that Sam has a strong willpower and drive. This chapter is well positioned in the book. It summarizes the willpower and drive that Sam has applied throughout his personal and professional journey. For me, this chapter is a workbook that you can refer from time to time. As I was reading through this chapter, it challenged me to reflect on my personal and professional journey. Sam begins this chapter by defining willpower and drive, the intention, commitment, strength, and hard work and drive of a human being to remain focused on achieving the goal. And then the dictionary defines willpower as the ability to exert yourself in difficult situations or in moments when you are not driven or resist the pull of trying force. The dictionary defines drive as the feeling of being compelled to do something or inspired by it. Sam tells us in the beginning of the book about his childhood background. He tells us that he became aware that he is born into poverty and knew earlier that he needs to change the situation that will be beneficial for him, his late mother, and siblings. He mentioned that his situation was uncomfortable. He knew that growing, he was not going to get what he needed, even though he had extended family support. He already knew he was not going to be a self-president. His willpower and drive was pushed by his own situation, poverty, and the drive to create a better life for his family. The author reminds us that each one of us has a journey to embark on, whether it's personal or professional or both. The author shares us with his journey began during his childhood. This chapter prepares us for our personal or professional journey. The following are the points that I'm going to focus on. What is your life purpose? Life purpose is the idea that each one of us has a unique reason for being on the earth. It is that thing that gives us our life's meaning and direction. It consists of the central motivating aim of your life, the reason you get up every morning. This is what drives us to achieve our goals and aspirations. There is a Japanese concept called ikigai. It is about the reason of being. Iki means life, and gai describes the value of work. Your ikigai is a life purpose. It's what brings joy and inspires you to get out of bed every day. It is important to know your life purpose. On page 319 of the chapter, the author reminds us that if your life purpose is not well defined, it is possible to drop off your journey. Without life purpose, you can feel lost, unfulfilled, and disconnected from yourself and the world around you. It doesn't matter where you come from, whether from the wealthy or poor background. It is important to know your life person. Why life purpose is important? It can transform your life in countless ways. When you have a clear sense of purpose, you are likely to feel motivated, you have something to try toward. It can lead you to a sense of satisfaction and fulfillment in all areas of life. Self-discovery. In chapter 9, page 178, the author talks about the journey of self-discovery. He emphasizes that it's a must that every woman, it's a must for every woman. I am going to highlight the importance of self-discovery. It is important to know who you are as a person, your identity, what you want to achieve, self-awareness, the positive change that you need to bring in your life, and the person you want to become, self-knowledge and self-appreciation, and your value system. Once your life purpose is in place, you know what you want, either in your personal or professional life, or both. Visualize where you would like to see yourself in the future. On page 319, the author indicates that you will dream about his future, but could not visualize a clear picture of his future. The vision board becomes effective because you can visualize your future in pictures and words attached to the picture. It brings us to the next item, that is goals. You can visualize your future in pictures and words. The next step is to set your goals. Your goals should be planned. Then it takes us again to the next item, which is emotional and psychological preparedness. The above mentioned goals are in place. The next step is to prepare yourself emotionally and psychologically to embark on a journey. How do you prepare yourself emotionally and psychologically? Prepare for the worst that might happen during your journey. Have a room for disappointment. Things might not go according to your plan. Does it mean that you're failed? No. It means that you need to have a contingency plan in place. It might mean that you need to review your goal, anticipate what might happen in your journey. Be prepared for the consequences, which might be positive or negative. Then the important part is the willpower and drive. How are you going to ensure that your life you want to achieve? On page 319, the author reminds us that the willpower and drive is needed to focus and make changes. The author has provided us with a full in-depth definition of power and drive, namely commitment, focus, intention, firm, drive to remain focused in achieving your own set of goals. What is our challenge? Why is it difficult or impossible to know our purpose and need? What are our fears? Why are we always feeling stuck in our personal or professional or both? How much do we know about coaching and mentorship? I will start here and give my compliment by chance.
Yes, Boniwe, you can continue with the journey from where you left.
Thank you so much. So as I continue where I ended up, I wanted to talk on how to progress when you find yourself having to navigate your life journey and having to overcome some of the challenges that I spoke about earlier. And Sam in his book also touches around the importance of mentoring and coaching, which, as we know it currently right now in our professional life, it helps and shapes us.
Yeah, Boniwe is having a challenge of being frequently cut from the network. I know she will be back very quickly. And Adira Mutla, you may just want to reflect on what Happy has shared with us and the listeners. And as soon as Boniwe is back, I will alert you and you can give her a chance.
Yes, thank you very much. I think if I'm to tick the boxes, you have started with the journey where it started from one step in terms of sharing with us where Brazil has come from and the journey that he traveled until where now is focusing on the drive and the willpower. I think, as you have indicated, me also was at the launch, and I was equally emotionally touched when Sam was engaged at the launch. And as you have described Brazil in terms of your understanding, I agree with you that from the journey that Brazil has traveled, there has always been a lot of hard work and a lot of strong willpower and drive. And here is Boniwe. You may continue, Boniwe.
Thank you so much, sir. As I was mentioning that growing up, obviously in previously disadvantaged backgrounds, we didn't know much about mentoring and coaching. However, the author actually speaks strongly around the importance of mentoring and coaching to be able to help individuals navigate their challenges and for them to pursue their purpose. And this is something that I hold dear to my heart, that we have even actually witnessed the author, Mr. Tsima, doing in his career over the years and contributing to the HR fraternity and to people development in general. The second way of progressing, he articulates that through guidance. And guidance is very important because what it does, it really provides one with direction in terms of where you are going. So you always go back to your elders and have to ask for direction to say, how do I get there? How do I navigate this particular challenge? Because oftentimes, as youngsters, we find ourselves being so fixated on thinking that we know everything and we have the answers. And I'm glad in this chapter that Sam was actually able to really talk about, having to seek guidance and direction as a form of navigating the challenges. Thirdly, thirdly is to also, the thought process. You need to also challenge your thought process as an individual. Do not ever assume that what you know is the be it all and end it all. But it is important to also try to battle out with your thoughts, especially negative thoughts, where you find yourself despondent, where you find yourself in a fix. It's important for you to challenge your thoughts and negative thoughts to actually help you to navigate some of the challenges. He also speaks about knowing who you are, which I've touched on earlier around culture. And I really like that because it actually talks about being grounded. If you know who you are as a person, it is very difficult for you to lose direction. It is very difficult for you to let go of your drive and willpower because you are grounded and you have a true foundation. So it is important for us that as we navigate through our life journey, we never forget who we are, and we also never forget where we come from. And then, if you may allow me, Franz and Sam, I would also like to touch on my own, on my own career experience based on the book as well. So, when I talk about my own life experience,
she will come back. That is the nature of things. Wow, she was following so nicely, same way as Happy in that Ramutla. You might just engage with Happy a little bit, and I know exactly where she left it. We'll ask her to carry on from there.
Yes, I was on our expectation was that she shares with us the journey that you traveled that inform where you are right now. and Happy has done that very well.
Yeah, Boniwe is back.
Oh, Boniwe, please continue.
Okay, his connectivity is challenging. Yeah. Oh, you're back. Lovely.
Yes, I think maybe let me just quickly continue on this point. So as I was saying, with our own career experience, without knowing growing up, I realized now when I reflect back to when I was younger that I was not aware, but I have always had mentors and coaches. But obviously growing up and being a young professional, those were very like foreign concepts to us. As I reflect back, I realized that I had people who always saw the best in me and guided me, showed interest in me, and even gave me opportunities I never knew I had. So as much as the concepts were foreign, as I reflect back, I realized that there were people in my village, in my community, at church, or even in my early careers that had always taken, interest in me. I guess I was always driven and disciplined, and people saw that in me. And it also goes back to the concept of drive and willpower. You always need to show up and always need to do your best. And once you show up and do your best and you are clear on your purpose and on your path, it is easy for people to identify you, to support you, and to nurture your career as well. So as much as we might not have known these concepts, but you realize that you are where you are because there were people and you showed up the best way you knew how, and you were always strong-willed. Like I had indicated, when my dad passed away at the age of when I was 10 years old, and we had to be brought up by a single mother. One thing that I was very young and naive, but one thing that I've always known from that age was that I needed to make my mom proud and I needed to make my parents proud. And every day that I had to go to school to write an exam, I had to apply for funding, I had to apply for universities. The desire to see the smile and the pride in my mother's face always actually drove me. And I knew that if I could do that, I would contribute positively to other young people that were in my community that never thought that education was better, or people that never thought anyone would actually come out as something in the community based on the circumstances and the environment that we grew up in. Thanks. I'd like to just allow Happy to also share some of her thoughts.
Thank you very much, Happy. If you want to continue with Sam's journey, and at some stage they will give you the opportunity to talk about your own experiences. Please continue.
Okay, thank you. Like I indicated before, that I am a therapist. I want to share a clear example of a young girl who has demonstrated her willpower and drive because of the home situation. So this young girl, I think she's in grade. She's in grade 10. Her parents are unemployed, and she lives with her granny, and they depend on granny's pension, which is not sufficient enough to maintain them. She is a learner, and fortunately, she is exempted from school fees, and she's keen to study. She realizes the importance of education, and because of she became aware of her baking skills, she started to bake and sell the case to the school learner. She made it a point that she wakes up very early in the morning to bake and sell the freshly baked cake to the learner before the school starts. She informed me that per day she's able to make 100 rand, and per week is 500 rand and 2,000 per month. And she's able to buy herself the toiletries and other basic needs, and she's able to assist the granny. This time, to me, demonstrated the willpower and courage, the unpleasant situations that push her, to do something to change the present situation. So this chapter basically opened my eyes. But so what I can share with you right now is before I became a social worker, I worked for the bank. It was exciting, in the beginning. And then later, I think when I was in my second year, I realized that this is not right what I want. I needed something. I knew that at some stage I need to graduate. I need to do something and improve my situation. Like the money was not good enough, and it was not good enough. It was I became very uncomfortable, and it haunted me. And then the manager decided to say, for you to be able to change your life, you need to do something. You need to do, to sacrifice and compromise. So then I applied at the university. I knew that at the university, I need to focus. I need to, I need to focus. I knew the purpose why I worked, at the university. I became a learner. And then the things that I used to do for myself when I was working, I had to depend again on my parents. If my mom says I don't have enough money or anything, I had to understand because I knew what was my purpose was. Today, I don't regret the change that I've made in my life. It is possible to change your life. It does not mean you have to be a perfection age. Even if you're old enough, you can still make some changes. I've seen that in my family. My mom was a pillar of the family. When my father fell very ill, he didn't work. We had to rely on my mom. And it was not easy. It was tough. But she was able, to study towards a degree. She was able to make up very comfortable. And people didn't know that it was not easy. But she managed. So I had to learn and take, the example from which to say it is possible, to make a difference in your life. Whether you're old, whether you're young, it is possible. The power is in us. We have to ignite it. That's what I can share with you.
Thank you very much. I think we will leave here, and then in the next segment, we will be working on some problem statements, and together we'll try to get answers to those problem statements. Boniwe, any closing remarks for the best segment?
For me, it's just really realizing that everybody in themselves, they do have something inside of them that they need to actually drive, and they actually have a purpose. So we are here with a purpose. It's important for us to know what that is and map a way on how we live a purpose so that we can really live a meaningful life. And this is irrespective of the age and irrespective of our background. It doesn't matter at which age you start, at which area you start. You just need to start as soon as you realize to say, this is what I'm living for. This is the difference that I'm made to bring or to make in the lives of those around me and in my communities. It is best that you start and navigate as you are still on the journey and never let your background define your life.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Ndadara Mutla. I think we are almost at the top of the hour. Listeners, please don't go away. We'll be back in 5 minutes with the second segment. Grab a cup of coffee, a glass of water, and whatever drink you have next to you. Please join us again in 10 minutes as we continue with the second segment. See you in a few minutes.